Hello, this is John with Theology Ed. There was a movie released called We Summon the Darkness in December 2019. I wasn't familiar with it at the time. I wasn't paying very close attention. And when I saw the name of this film recently, I thought there has to be something interesting or related to the 4th of July or the buck moon or something along those lines, because we've seen this pattern so much. And what I'm going to do in this video, first, for people who've not seen any of my videos before, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick review of the importance of the June 21st eclipse. There's an annular eclipse on June 21st, just a few hours after summer solstice. And then a couple weeks later is the buck moon, which is the full moon in July. But it's the first full moon after this eclipse. And there's all sorts of evidence from various sources that show that these dates and these events are very important to the occult elite, who are planning some sort of ritual and actions that either include a second 9/11 or will lead up to it. And so let's go ahead. I'm going to do a quick review first, but then I'm going to show how this film also supports this whole idea of the 4th of July, 4th and 5th buck moon event. So, of course, we have iPet Goat 2. This room is a calendar. It's the 2020 calendar. It's also the 2017 calendar, but for now we're just going to look at the 2020 calendar. If you're interested in seeing more about the 2017 calendar, I have a whole series on iPet Goat 2 explained, and then another video about the June 21st, 2020 annular eclipse and Operation Blackjack, which also explains the 2017 calendar. You can take a look at those. But the 2020 calendar, we have going from left to right the months, January, February, March, and so on. We have in the middle, after June and before July, we have the girl. She is a feminine principle, a woman or girl sitting on a solar disk there. So she's representing the moon. That is the sun. That's an eclipse, an annular eclipse, where the moon is not totally blocking all parts of the sun, but it will be a ring of fire eclipse. Notice that the eclipse has a dot to the side in heliophonthe at the end. If you flip it over, you see that the exact same alignment, and also on Obama's cheek. If you flip it over, we get the exact same alignment. The rabbit on the wall behind her, directly behind her, is a male rabbit. A male rabbit is called a buck. This is representing the buck moon or the stag moon. It goes by both names. That's the July 5th full moon, and that is actually just a few minutes after midnight. Depends on where you're at in the world. It's a July 4th, July 5th full moon, so it's a 4th of July event that night. You have over here, you have the two heads joined, and that is a month. October is a month with two full moons. On October 31st, we have the hunter's moon, and so you get this dog-like shape in here. So we have the 2020 calendar. The buck moon, if you look at the rabbit, he looks like an angry rabbit looking in this direction with anger. We have on the back, we have regular looking grass that looks peaceful and well ordered, and then you have wild vines after him. The buck moon in this video is sort of haunting. After she sits here, it goes dark, the room goes dark, then she lets go of the apple, and the apple is representing the moon, and you're supposed to follow the moon. The moon rolls over, you see it up here, leaving the shadow on the light from the sun, giving you the black sun or eclipse appearance, showing that that is supposed to be understood as the moon. You follow the moon over, it hits Obama's foot. Obama is looking down with horror at this moon, this apple representing a moon. Notice also that his drop of sweat up here is a V, which is a 5, just like in the month of July. We have the V, which is representing the lotus flower, out of which you have Harpocrates, the babe in the lotus flower, born. Okay, I have a video about that as well in the iPad 2 Explained series. So Obama is watching the moon, and it's frightening. And this sort of horror that accompanies this moon is a repeated theme in iPad Goat 2. We go out, we have outside the classroom while the 9/11 attacks are happening, we have a rabbit-like cloud that's brighter than the rest, as though the moonlight is behind it, and it's being embraced by a demon. Then over here we have a moon on the cliff. Okay, if you look here at this moon shape, it's perfectly round, has legs, it's a little neck, and then up here we have two big ears. This is a rabbit. Okay, they're making it a moon, her rabbit moon. It looks goofy because they're making it look like a moon, so you can't miss it. However, it's clearly also a rabbit, especially given the repeated bunny or buck moons throughout this video. Now, we have it, and what is it doing? It's looking down over the doomsday clock and the destruction of the United States, the dividing of the country, with that one star flying away, but the whole flag torn in half. Interestingly, this flag post is in the snow right with the south lunar node. The buck moon is a south lunar node penumbral eclipse this year. And so it's like a target pin, right, or a thumbtack almost in the snow, pointing directly to July 4th when the flag is torn in half. We have the buck moon again in this scene, where again the rabbit-like cloud is white, bright light, like it's the lit up cloud. The lightning strikes over here. It says rain, but if you look closely, it says 7-5. If you look at it shifted this way, 7-5. Interestingly as well, I'll just mention as we go, you also see when you look at it, if all the numbers are laying on their sides, we also have a 2-3, the 23, which would fit perfectly in with the 23 appearing in other scenes like the Psalm 23 graffiti or the 23 to the side of the Statue of Liberty and the Statue of Liberty scene. But the idea is the buck moon, the July 4th, 5th moon, is what's scaring Obama. This is the night that starts a change that makes where the world sort of goes wild. At least the United States seems to be the primary target at this point. Okay, there's the flag again. Now, this was also featured, this sequence from the solar eclipse on June 21st through the buck moon in a Simpsons episode. If you've seen my previous videos, you know this. The Great American Eclipse happened in 2017 on August 21st. It is the eclipse that goes from northwest to southeast in the United States. And this is from the Simpsons episode. They show that that's exactly what happened. This is from about 10 years ago. They were watching the eclipse. After that eclipse in 2017, they represented time moving for a long time to the point where Lisa was bored. Lisa looks for the ring eclipse again. This is looking for the annular eclipse after that passage of time from 2017. A lot of time passed. Then she looks for the ring. The Freemasons say the gem will be revealed during the first full moon after a solar eclipse. So she has to go take a look for this, and on that is the full moon night in the episode. And then they find great crimes kill holy sage, and all hell breaks loose on that full moon night. So there it is, same sequence. We have Drive Angry, a movie that's about a satanic ritual on a first full moon after, they don't tell you what. And in this, a new world order is supposed to come out of a sacrifice on that night. And the hounds of hell are going to be at his command, the hounds of perdition at his command. He's the sect leader, the satanic cult. And it's an explicitly satanic ritual. They were Satanists. Then we have the movie Knowing, where there's a vision, there's the representation of the annular eclipse in the window. He looks out the annular eclipse, and he comes across a moose burning. The first animal that comes out, that moose is a male moose, of course. That's how we're going to read that. And it is a stag. Generally, a male moose is called a bull. However, it is in the deer family, and it is scientifically acceptable, and I've read this repeatedly, to call it a stag. You also have a species called the stag moose that is now extinct. This is a species of deer, of course, that is called a stag moose. But we also get additional confirmation that the event predicted in this vision that this boy saw from the Whisperer was about a buck moon night. Okay, we go over here at midnight. That day begins. This woman dies. They say, oh, she died right at midnight, and then they show the clock. Now you look at the clock. The date of the event in the film is October 19th, but look closely. Going backwards, that's 9/11, 9/11, and then in addition to that, that rectangle points to, thanks to one of my commenters, I think his name is MKW, thank you, 7/5. See? 9/11, 7/5. And then, when he leaves, the Nicolas Cage character goes out, a real buck from just a regular deer. A buck comes out, and he is, shocked, startled by it. And then his son shows up with what? The buck rabbit. So we get this repeated theme. Here also is the same sequence. We have the lockdown date. This is the Be Ready advertisement. He's looking for a date to do another attack. He comes across this number. He has 311. That's your lockdown date. That's when the World Health Organization declared it a global pandemic, the current crisis. Then it goes to 621. There's your solar eclipse. Then it goes to 7/4. There's your 4th of July buck moon night, the night when the buck moon begins, depending on where you're at, July 4th, July 5th. So again, after that, runaway sector, New York, water. So we're getting the same repeated theme. Now let's look at the new one. So when I saw this, I said, We Summon the Darkness, released in last year, 2019, December. And I said, that's got to be something related to this. And so I said, I'll watch it. It sounds stupid. I saw a trailer. It sounded dumb. But even the trailer I saw, when I checked that out, I said, it mentioned the 4th of July. And I thought, well, is that just in passing, or is that what the movie's about? So I went, opening scene, there it is. This is how they begin the film. It goes from black to that. There is a bunny on the road, and they show this for about 10 seconds. The rabbit just sort of there as this car passes with the girls in it. And they set this in 1988. Some of you are coming from different channels that are talking a lot about the number 88. This is a 2019 movie, and they set it about about summoning the darkness. It's going to be about a satanic ritual. Okay, I'll explain. And it's set in 1988, and it begins right away with your bunny again. It is. Where's your 4th of July spirit? She says that this is going to be about the 4th of July, events happening on the 4th of July. In fact, the entire film, from beginning to end, is all on one night, July 4th through dawn of July 5th. Okay, so this is all on the 4th of July. They go to a satanic rock and roll party. Or a little concert, small one. Everybody is wearing their satanic stuff. She's got Lord Lucifer on her coat, and they're wearing, could you see it on here? She's got Lord Lucifer here. This girl has an upside down cross she's wearing. They've got everything, and it's very, it's repeated and extreme as satanic symbolism, because partly it's supposed to be a little humorous, I think. But they are not actually Satanists. They're supposed to be Christians perpetrating a false flag attack against Satanists. Basically, they're going to go out and pretend to be Satanists, decorate a room up with satanic symbols and so on to do a sacrifice and kill people so they can blame Satanists and go around and say, oh, you need Jesus. So it's a false flag attack against Satanists by Christians in the film, so-called Christians, right? They're really... They end up being really terrible people, obviously, throughout the whole thing. They throw fireworks in this person's car. There's 3 guys in their car because they're retaliating for something they did earlier. And they yell, Happy 4th of July, expletives, okay? And so the story is about them going out, perpetrating a false flag attack against Satanists on the 4th of July in a satanic ritual imitation, okay, where, you see all the symbolism here, where they're going to sacrifice and kill people in the name of Satan on the 4th of July through the night of the 4th of July into the morning of the 5th of July. And that is the story of the film, set in 1988, opening with your little bunny. Again, with everything else, if this was by itself, if this was the only thing, I wouldn't read too much into it. But again, it's just another piece of corroborating evidence. It goes with everything else. It combines with everything we're seeing. It's a repeated theme. This theme happens over and over and over and over again. And so I wanted to make sure it was shared again. All right, take care.